And we also have Dr. Naomi James, who will take us through devotion. We have Chris Limo, now a certified counseling psychologist. He graduated recently. He'll be speaking on behalf of students and also on behalf of Dr. Menecha, who and as a psychologist. We also have Dr. Mwaka, who we are very excited to have from Odell, who
You're breaking.
Sorry. Oh, okay. All right. I'll change probably the internet provider. So I was just finishing by saying we will have Dr. Caroline Mwaka speaking to us as the keynote speaker. We're very excited. She's also done quality rights. So without further ado, let me invite Dr. Naomi James to take us through our devotion for the next 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charity, and everyone else who is in the house. It's a great day, very, very exciting to have, Daystar students going through this graduation today. It's a great moment. And today I would like us just to think through multiplying mental health ambassadors. I'm sure you're wondering, how do we connect that with the Bible? When you look at the story of the demon-possessed man, I'm assuming that we are familiar with that story, the Daystarians. You carry your Bible everywhere you go, so I'm assuming that you've read that story about this man who was demon-possessed. And what we learn about this man who was demon-possessed is that, yes, it is an issue of mental health. It is an issue of mental health, though we are told that, yes, he was demon-possessed, but as far as we know, there are so many reasons that will lead or cause or contribute to a mental health disorder. And so when we look at this story, what comes out is that this man experienced a lot of stigma. That is one. If you think about the society where he was living in at that time, there seems to be very little awareness, just like we have the situation today in our society, that there is very little known about mental health issues, mental disorders. And it is our duty to multiply ambassadors, people who can speak about mental health. Because if you look at this man and the story that is narrated, you see that there is very little that was done actually to help this man. If anything, the Bible says that they used to tie him. They used to tie him with chains, with ropes, and he would break them. Until finally, this man actually went to live in the hills. The Bible says that he lived in the hills. He lived in the tombs, because the society didn't have a way of helping this person. And I can imagine the stigma that he experienced. When this man saw Jesus decided to just have a conversation with him. And we know the story. Jesus asking him, "Who are you?" And he says, "Legion, because we are many." One of the great teachings that I got from this encounter is that Jesus thought about restoring this man, restoring his mental status. And he had pity on him. There is Jesus Christ coming actually to underline the value of life, that everyone has a right to live. Everyone has a right to enjoy good health, to enjoy mental health. And what we see happening is that actually Jesus improved the quality of life of this man. And how did this happen? He healed the man, and the man actually was found seated next to Jesus Christ when people ran towards him. They came to check, what is it that is happening? Because of course the incident, as caused a lot of excitement in the city, and also a lot of confusion, because people are wondering, what is it that has happened? And more so the story about the pigs, which I know you know. So people came, they found the man seated next to Jesus, and now the people who witnessed this were the ones who were telling the story. What exactly has happened? So they were wondering, you mean this is the man that was demon possessed, the man that was mad? He's seated next to Jesus. He is dressed, that is what the Bible says. So I guess I want to imagine that probably Jesus ordered, someone to either buy some clothes and dress the man. And the other thing is that he was in his right mind. In his right mind. So meaning that Jesus restored him. He improved the quality of life of this man. What do we learn from this? That as mental health practitioners, we have a duty. We have a duty to restore. We have a duty to improve the quality of life of people. We have a duty to create awareness in the society so that people can people can bounce back to life. People who have mental health challenges. We are learning that everyone has a right to mental health, because this is underlined by Jesus Christ and what he did. He restored him back to his normal functioning because he recognized the need for him to be healthy, to be functioning, and to live, full life, quality of life improved. After Jesus restored him to good health, what did he tell him to do? He told him, because the man begged Jesus, can I go with you? Can I go with you? And we see this happening sometimes, even in the therapy rooms, whereby, because of one reason or the other, there is some dependence. The client wants to stick with us, to stay with us, and to hang on there because they feel this is a safe place. This is where they're enjoying, good companionship with us. They're enjoying, acceptance. They're enjoying that unconditional self-regard. They're enjoying everything good in our therapy rooms. And so they would want to stay on. Jesus told this man when he begged, can I go with you? Can I stay with you? Jesus told him, go back to your people and tell them what has happened to you. Let us tell our clients after we have done a good job, because I believe with the kind of knowledge that we have, the skills that we have, we are able to help people bounce back to life, bounce back to good health. Once all that is done, let us send them as ambassadors. That's why I said our topic is on multiply mental health ambassadors. Let us send them back to the society so that we reduce the stigma, so that we have people who can say, I suffered, I had anxiety, I had depression, I had this, but I got help, I got help. So that we get a lot of people talking about mental health issues to reduce the stigma. Once they bounce back to life, they will confidently join us in creating awareness in the society. May the Lord bless us. May the Lord help us to be able to continue to do this so that we help lots and lots of people who are hurting out there to be able to enjoy good mental health. Thank you very much. Have a blessed function.
Very well said, Dr. Dr. Naomi James. That is fantastic and very encouraging. We thank you so much for starting us off on a very high note. We are very excited to have everyone here. Next, I would like to request Charlotte Munoko to speak to us. We had module discussions for module 1 and 2, 3 and 4. But before we start the graduation itself, we want to have some insights from module 5 and 6, which were the final modules. And I encourage everyone, as Charlotte is speaking, you can give your comments as well on the last 2 modules. Charlotte Munoko, over to you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So for module 5 and 6, module 5 was basically talking about how to enhance the physical environment in mental health and related services. The importance of creating a supportive and inclusive environment for promoting mental health and well-being, which is like ensuring people have access to an adequate standard of living, including things like housing, clean water, and quality care. The module also highlighted the need to transition from institutionalized settings to community-based services and giving people the freedom to communicate and make choices for themselves about how they want to carry out their care or how they want their care to be carried out. For module 6, it was mainly about the right to health, significance of mental health in the UN, Sustainable Development Goals, and the concept of recovery and the importance of adopting a recovery approach in providing care and support. These 2 modules were mainly, it was a very good conclusion to the whole course, because now here we learn about just how to, we've already learned about human rights and how to employ that in our care. And now the end is just coming to a conclusion and saying, okay, how do we include these people into the community after their care? Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Those are excellent insights, Charlotte. This is the second time you shared your insights with us, and we are blessed to have you. I think that is very good because the world is moving from institutional mental health to community mental health. And these 2 modules really helped us see how do we then support people post-institutionalization in the community by providing access to education, to employment, to engaging in the community, and supporting recovery long-term. So thank you for that. We have people who are very excited about the devotion from Naomi. There are several comments on the chat saying, thank you very much for our powerful message. And also calling us to be mental health advocates to help restore people. That is by Mwalimu Irene Kimani. Thank you for joining us, Ansi Funa. Thank you for joining us, Chris Limo, Agnes Rateng. Continue to introduce yourself in the chat and to give us your thoughts on module 5 and 6. So without further ado, I would like to invite Tabitha Wamoshe, Sorry, someone speaking?
No, but you could ask speakers just because of record. It's nice that they have their videos on. It really helps in terms of professionalism and accountability. Okay, that is true. All right, so kindly for our speakers, have your videos on as you speak. Starting with Tabitha Wamoshe, one of the people who has been a highlight in this program. Tabitha was, I think, the one to finish the quality rights course the fastest. And so we are so proud of her. I love that she has experience in nursing, which is very key in this program. And she recently graduated as a psychologist. So Tabitha Wamoshe, please share with us your quality rights experience. I remind all participants, kindly mute your mics.
kindly mute your mics as we continue with the program. Tabitha Wamoshe, over to you.
An opinion. First of all,
Tabitha, just a moment. I want to mute everybody, and then because you're a co-host, you can unmute yourself. So go ahead, I'm unmuting everybody, and then just unmute yourself.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tabitha Wamoshe. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Please carry on. Yes, we can hear you well. And
Hello.
you're looking lovely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I did my quality rights first because maybe I thought I'm lagging behind, and then I was the first one to finish. And I thank God for doing that. And also I had an opportunity to do the revision of the whole course. And I got 240 stars, whichever I did the revision, because sometimes when you do, you forget. And I did it. I thank God for that opportunity. And it was an eye-opening course, because sometimes we experience and we see it was normalized for a person with psychiatric disorder or mental health issues. They are treated, they are violated, their rights are violated, and everything seems as if it's normal. They are made decision for because people think they cannot make decision for themselves. And that really has really made me feel that sometimes you are so unfair for people who are mentally ill. As a nurse, I have worked in Mathare Hospital. I have worked in Muranga and other hospitals in a psychiatry unit, and I've already seen how these patients are treated in the psychiatry unit. You know, when they're in the psychiatry unit, people think they can tie them very hard, they're unruly and everything. But comparing to the medical unit and surgical unit, where patient with meningitis, they are very unruly, they can break, they can do everything, but you can see the nurses and doctors are a bit softer to them, and they are not, they can harm themselves and everything, but you see when they are trying to calm them down, they are more softer than those one in the psychiatry unit. So I was feeling like both of them need the same rights because they are sick, all of them. And I felt like nurses really need to learn about the rights, the mental health rights, because nurses are the one who are really in touch with these patients. Doctors come, see the patient, write the orders, and they leave the patient with the nurse. Psychologists come, talk to the patient and everything, they leave the patient with the nurse. Everyone comes and leave the patient with the nurse. So I think even when we are incorporating the School of Applied Human Sciences, we also need to maybe introduce nurses to this so that they can learn about the rights, so that they can be very good advocates to human rights issues, because they are the first one to receive the patients in the ward, and they are the last one to let the patient go. So in making them learn, or making the patient learn about the rights, they are the first people who can tell them, no, this is not right, this is how it can be done. And then they are the one who are giving treatment. They can make the patient even participate in their treatment and know that they can decide for themselves. And also during distance, they are the one who decides the patient. So even during distance, they are the one who can tell the patient, this and this is what you can do to avoid, to prevent these things, or even the relatives, to teach them how to uphold the rights of these people. I think it is very important. And also in those hospitals, There are waiting days where patients just stay there, and nurses, I see nurses giving health talks. And we usually, yes, I'm a nurse, and we were giving health talks. And one of the many health talks you can give is about these rights, where these rights and the people in the community can go knowing, the relatives and the people who are brought, they can go knowing that there is these rights and they need to be upheld. So it's a big thing, and we really need to incorporate it even in the nursing curriculum so that people can uphold these rights, and patient can, sometimes you can admit a patient with a psychiatric disorder, and when you concentrate them, they can even get injuries. Then you start dealing with a surgical problem, and the patient came with only mental health, which is very unfair to these clients. So, and also when people know about mental health and how to identify it early, they can be taken to the hospital early, and then prevent this time when they can harm themselves and harm others. So even when we learn how to identify and we teach the community how to identify the conditions early, patient can be taken early and they can be taken care of and prevent those very severe cases that can make the patient harm themselves or harm others. I think those are the things that I think we can do. And also in the community, I'm in a church where we usually have committees for health, and when you are knowledgeable about mental health, you can also get an opportunity to give health talks about incorporating people who have health issues in the community and supporting them. Also, that one can help also in the community, how they can be supported so that they can be able to take care of themselves and to make decisions for themselves, and to be better people. And I know that people with mental health, they can be anything they want to be out there if they are supported. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Tabitha. That was fantastic. Excellent insights. My mother is a retired nurse, so I have such profound respect for nursing and the sacrifice.
I think, Charity, you've been lost for some time, eh?
Is that you make behind it.
I think they didn't get you. You have been lost for some time.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, and then you can put your camera in a way that people can see your face.
Okay. All right. I actually have my laptop camera on, but I had forgotten that when I speak, it reverts to my phone. So sorry, my face was not being seen. So I want to thank you, Tabitha, for very excellent insights and very relatable insights. I think, just like I was saying, I have profound respect for nurses because I've grown up seeing my mother making very huge sacrifices. And as a patient of Madari myself, I have seen that the nurses do so much for us and spend a lot of time with us, and it is important to empower nurses. So I am happy that Tabitha has mentioned the need to go ahead and invite the health sciences department to join the next cohort. I think being a nurse and a psychologist is such a good combination in terms of us being able to see different perspectives. So I thank you so much, Tabitha, and well done for making us proud for being the person who finished QR in the fastest time possible. So I'd like to invite Chris, just a minute. I'd like to invite Chris Limo, who is also a quality rights graduate. We started this program with Chris Limo, who I had met through the mental health space. And honestly, without him, this cohort would not have been possible. I approached him and told him that as I do advocacy through lived experience in the community, on media, and even globally, I meet persons with lived experience who have learned quality rights, and sometimes they go to facilities and demand for these rights, but they find professionals who are not able to. And so, as we were discussing, he offered to help start this course at Daystar. And I'm so grateful because there's so much he's done behind the scenes. He has connected us with Dr. Menecha, connected us to the faculty, to the students, and he's played such a pivotal role, not only in starting the course, but in working with us until the completion. And I think this should be called the Chris Limo cohorts. Because I mean, day and night, we have been talking about quality rights, and I really congratulate him even for graduating. So Chris, without further ado, we'd like to request you to tell us your quality rights experience. Tell us, what is quality rights? What has been your experience? And what is the way forward that we have discussed as we had a monitoring and evaluation meeting this week? Please let us know. Thank you. Karibu, Chris.
Asante sana. Thank you, Charity, for pushing. Because I'm more of a pushy than a pusher. Yes, and so you've been the engine, in a sense, to move this program together. And also, I want to acknowledge Dr. Caroline Mwaka, because she's the one who told me about QR rights, told us in our class, I think in 2019, the first time. And I did register, and I did not complete. So I think that was also part of the rationale of doing it as a cohort, because of completion rates were very low. So to me, it wasn't the first time I heard about it this time round. She had told us, and yeah. So my experience was also doing it in the cohort system was also, it's good for the ego. Depending on where you're at in the pace of doing the program, because when a Tabitha finishes in one morning, so there's a bit of shame on me, and. What am I doing given that I have time, I have maybe access to internet, but also doing it and even losing lives, for me, what doing the course itself for the sake of the course was also about learning to be patient with self. And then on the bigger picture about treating clients with dignity. And I value dignity already. But I didn't realize how saying I value dignity and being put in the place where you need to apply that dignity can be very, very different worlds. I am, alongside being a counseling psychologist, I'm also an addictions interventionist. So it involves using the very nice term called referring people to rehabs. Now, referring sounds very nice. More often than not, it's we are talking about involuntary admissions. So for me, the challenge about doing this class was actually recognizing that there's a lot of rights of the clients that I have, that I have not valued or seen or acknowledged, because saying, for instance, addiction is already a disease of denial. So to expect the clients to walk themselves to rehab or to make decisions. So it was a contentious issue for me when I was doing the course. And as recent as last week, a client was brought, family called me, and when I went to meet the client, he categorically said he doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't see the need to deal. And I went back to the course, and so it's a family. I organized a group therapy, a group session for them to see how we can, one, empower the family to be okay in the space of having this person within their space, but also to empower the family to see how we can inspire this guy to go, because he does need, we feel, from the assessment, he does need inpatient care, at least for adherence to psychiatric medication that he's on, because right now he's still mixing it. And, so it's still very dicey in terms of the thin line between the patient's best interest and quality rights. And that's what courses like this do. They get us to think and create new systems, of operating. And for me, I'm excited about what will happen, especially now that we have numbers, as we are creating numbers compared, even if it's just me who has graduated, compared to 4 years ago when I didn't complete the course. So Dr. Menecha also called me, told me as much as he really, really, really wanted to be here, he couldn't be because he's attending, it's actually both personal and professional engagement, for Daystar University. And he asked me to say some things, and so this is what some of the things he mentioned, that yes, the first university cohort, it came from a simple conversation, and here we are, 63 people on the call, over 100 who had registered to attend. And by any means, this is a successful completion. He was also invited about 3 or 4 weeks to a breakfast by the National Quality Rights Committee, which is convened by the Ministry of Health, and he made a commitment to grow the program. And then also going forward, because even though this was a pilot, the hope and the commitment is that we are going to get other, the second cohort is coming. And in this time, it will, as Charity mentioned, to integrate the School of Nursing, the School of Sciences, and also DC3, the Daystar Compassion and Care Center. And hopefully, in fact, even this, I don't know whether, he was saying it, the ambitious hope also is to include it in the curriculum, and especially of psychology training at Daystar University at all levels. I think this is possible. He thinks it's possible. He was saying it would be, he will take leadership on that and see, because the modalities of integrating, I think, comes with some administrative processes. And then also there'll be on this call that we'd want volunteers to facilitate and to mobilize for the next cohort, which hopefully is early on in the next semester, but set the ball rolling before that semester comes in. And also to that, and he's particularly excited that Odell, under the leadership of Dr. Caroline Mwaka, will technically host the virtual activities on their Zoom platform, and he's very, very grateful for that. So that's pretty much it. And then we also have cohort 2. For the cohort 2, there are sections on faculty who will be on the team, undergrads, student representatives, and alumni. And the alumni would be led by Tabitha, and I have been co-opted to deputize her, and I'm happy to do that as Chris, not as Dr. Menecha. But so for me, that course was enlightening. It was really, really enlightening, and as challenging as it was, wondering how could we cheat out of those lives that we were losing. But it was good that we could even get redemption, talk about even the devotion. And also as a mental health ambassador, for me now, mental health is not just a topic of discussion, it's a way of life. And for me, who even lives with a mental health condition, and you can't tell unless I tell you, and that it's a privilege to be able to even sit here that without stigma, that, and I still declare I'm still a whole human being, even if I do live with a mental health condition. And for that, I'm truly, truly grateful to God for His grace to be able to function, to be a functional citizen now. So with that, I hand it back to Charity, and thank you so much for the opportunity and the privilege to be here. Thank you.
No one could have said it better. Thank you, Chris. That is such a fantastic way forward, and also to hear your experience. And I love that you have been able to both provide your lived experience and how this has helped you as a psychologist, as someone who has helped to start the program, as the person who has been talking to Dr. Minecha day and night about it. And thank you for representing his thoughts. It's true, he really, really, really wanted to join us today, but he had another priority that he had to do, and I'm glad he has such a fantastic team, even here with Dr. Naomi James, with Mwalimu Irene, who will be speaking later today. So I have realized it is very quiet in the chat. And I remember even during our module discussions, we literally had to stop talking and start typing for everyone to participate. So we have heard from Tabitha, we have heard from Chris about their experience. Please tell us, in just one sentence, how has your experience been in doing quality rights? If you have not done quality rights, what has stood out for you in what has been said today? And lastly, what is your commitment going forward? And I'm happy that many of you are able to fill your feedback form, your commitment form. So I'll sample a few, but as I do, please go to the chat or go to the main group and write down how your quality rights experience has been and your commitment going forward. And also what has excited you about everything that has been spoken today. Also write in the main group, because I remember last time when we wrote in the main group, we had people speaking. And I know we still need a few in the chat so that those who watch the YouTube video at a later time would be able to see. So our next speaker will be from the Ministry of Health, but before she does, I'd like to just sample a few highlights from the feedback that you sent us through the feedback form that you filled. So one of the highlights was that people sharing encouragement on the group and even tips on how to finish QR, like switching off your phone, doing this on your laptop until you've done, made it easier to finish quality rights because then the information was fresh and you are concentrating. So even if you had understood something, you are also able to put it in the words that are there in the exam. We do have, or the tests, we do have those who are really encouraged by people sending certificates. And as certificates were sent, people felt, if so and so could do it, so could I. They were very motivated by that. I trust that you're typing in the chat and on the group your feedback and your commitments and feedback on also what we've had today. As I said this, we also had many people saying as a digital platform, it was easy, it was user-friendly, it was convenient to do in a matatu. I remember there are people who said they were able to do it in a matatu, or in even other functions. Tabitha, I remember, was in a county function when she was able to finish. There are many people who said losing lives was discouraging, but yet made it interesting. That was very good feedback. There are those who said they started the course much later. Actually, there's someone who's just texted me that they started last night and they finished, which is very exciting. So we had a lot of people saying they started much later. So having the orientation link, the registration link, and also link on how to navigate the platform was helpful for them. There are those who said the module discussions were very practical because some examples that they found from other countries were not relatable, but the examples that were provided within our discussions with examples from real life experiences from Kenya and from Kenyan institutions and communities was helpful. So practical real life challenges. There are those who really celebrated the faculty for mobilizing students and even capitalizing our World Mental Health Day, which was on the 10th of October. The theme for this year was or is making mental health a universal human right. So there are those who used, there are faculty and even students who use that opportunity to tell people the theme for this year is rights, so get to learn about human rights. There was a lot of feedback. We are still putting it together, and we will do a report on this very successful first pilot with Daystar University. And this means that the name Daystar will go far and wide. I mean, in the next semester, we will be doing this with Kabarak University, USIU, Nairobi, University of Nairobi, and there's one more. Kabarak, University of Nairobi, USIU, and Strathmore. And we will be doing it with different platforms or rather different departments because this model has worked. And by the psychology department starting this program, they've committed to host it going forward, just as Chris has told us. But we are also looking to have other departments hosting. At USIU, it will be psychology hosting. At Strathmore, it will be healthcare management. They do not have psychology, but healthcare managers will be making decisions on matters, how to run the facility, testing or assessing the facility using the toolkit and so on. Kabarak will be starting with the law department. Kabarak has a very big passion for mental health. The law department has published something on criminal justice and mental health, a publication, a fantastic one. We haven't gotten I don't think they've put it online, but I have a copy of that. And so it's excited to do this quality rights program through them. Also because, like we had mentioned when we were doing module 3 and 4, yes, 3 and 4, we did say that the UNCRPD, the United Nations Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which is the main pillar of quality rights, is not the only law. We have the Mental Health Act, and I sent links, the Kenya Mental Health Policy, we have our constitution, we have the rights of children, because we do have children with mental health conditions, and there are so many laws that come together. And so Kabarak University will be, a resource center in terms of, when you want to see involuntary admission in the face of the CRPD or other laws, what does it then mean? And so that means that everywhere we are going, we are saying that this has been done by Daystar, they have done it well. And so it is to say that Daystar is definitely, a big pillar of the quality rights program going forward. Everywhere we go, we will give this example. And as we ask for volunteers, actually, we would want to have volunteers signing up. Chris did mention the team leaders. So we will be having the faculty, undergrad, graduate students, and alumni. Chris and Tabitha will be leading alumni. So please, on the group, if you're willing to volunteer with this team in matters mobilization for the next cohort, which we will be starting to plan for in January, that will be Daystar led. If you're willing to be a volunteer, please just start the list of the groups, right? I am willing to be a QR volunteer. And so we will get in touch with you. So just write that, put number 1 and start us off. And also even volunteering to support other institutions. So as we do this with USIU, it would be great to have a Daystar person in the team saying, this is how it worked for us. This is how we will do this going forward. So I sampled some feedback highlights. I'd like to sample some commitments. Yes, so we did have many saying that they would be able to do advocacy both on social media and in other spaces that they are in. There's someone who said they own a school and they will use, that platform as an opportunity to talk about mental health and also rights-based mental health. We had those who are saying I will take this to different institutions that I go to while I'm doing research and other programs. We have many who committed to advocacy. There are those who said they are willing to start a CBO or work with the DC3, the Daystar Compassion Care Center to be able to do this. We have those who said they are willing to break this down to other people, because doing psychology, they can be able to reach out to others who are not mental health professionals and be able to teach them. And part of the big picture, we did have people who are saying they want this as part of the curriculum, and that's part of the big picture. Actually, KMTC has been able to do that already, but the low-hanging fruit is having it as required learning, which our faculty has committed to do even as the back-end process continues. I think also, yes, the Daystar Care and Compassion Center was mentioned quite a bit. And we did have someone who said developing an introduction to mental health for those who are not professionals in mental health, which is very important. Okay, so let me sample some chat responses. Just a minute. Yes, so the fact that clients are allowed to make their own decisions after being provided with all information was quite informative. That's from Emily Ndeke. Caroline Mungatia says the course was very insightful. My key highlight was on recovery. Oh, fantastic. That is what Charlotte was talking about, that recovery really has to come from the individual, and all we have to do is support them on their road to recovery. Well said. Someone has said, Charity, please also include Park University. Yes, give us the contacts. We're willing to start. And the more volunteers we have, the more we are able to take it to more universities. I do have religious leaders that I have worked with, who work with or studied at Park University, and we've given them opportunities to speak on media on mental health, because within our Kenyan setting, and especially for the low income classes, this is still viewed as a religious issue. Mental health conditions are seen as demons or witchcraft. And so religious leaders have a very big place, and Park University has a very strong program. Actually, St. Paul's University also started as a theology college. We did our orientation this week. And so they are looking to have chaplaincy be part of the hosting. So yes, when you have contacts in other universities, let's work together, because when we have at least 2 volunteers, we can be able to do it for so many people. So the more volunteers we have, the better. Magdalene enjoyed the learning process, even losing lives and getting back on track. She enjoyed that. What stood out for her is the recognition of human dignity, even amidst mental illness. Very well said. Jared Orwa says losing lives during the questions was a well choreographed analogy of not giving up when dealing with mental issues. Despite how many lives are lost, we made it at the end. I love that. Let me see if there are any comments on. Oh, Chris, kindly check if there are any comments on the main group. And read them for us, if any.
No, we have people who are committing themselves to be QR volunteers.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. The more we are, the more course we will do. Actually, we are also doing this with professional health associations. So in January, we'll start planning with the Kenya Psychiatric Association, the Kenya Nursing Council Mental Health Nurses Chapter, and the Clinical Officers Association. And as long as you have done QR, then we are able to, we're also meeting next week with the Vice Chair of the Board of the Counseling Psychologists Board of Kenya, a very new board, because they will be convening on our behalf. So as you sign up to volunteer, think big. We need volunteers at Daystar, we need volunteers in the different universities, but also with the associations. So thank you for that, Chris. Guys, keep signing up. Encourage those who have not attended the meeting to sign up as well as the volunteer team. And then we will see how to balance everyone who is available. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Wanjiko Wawero from the Ministry of Health. She has actually recently joined the Division of Mental Health Quality Rights Program. We have very few staff at the Mental Health Directorate, and it's been so tough for them to meet all the needs of quality rights. We are very, very excited to have her with us. She'll help us understand the bigger picture, and she'll also tell us about her graduation coming up soon. Dr. Wanjiko Wawero, welcome.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Karibu sana.
Anyway, how are you? How is everyone? I'm Dr. Wanjiko Wawero Tajir. I'm a psychiatrist, and as Charity has said, I recently joined Division of Mental Health, and I was assigned to actually work with Charity and many others in regards to quality rights. What strikes me when I was hearing everyone talking is we all had different experiences when doing quality rights program. And as for me, just as Chris said, I was so struck that unintentionally I have infringed on other people's rights, that is my patients and other people that I've met. So for me, it's really, as the way it says, act, unite, and empower for mental health, there's a way that as I was reading, it was just empowering I was just gaining new knowledge that was helping me in knowing how to deal with my patients and also with my family members. I did not do it only for my patients, but I did it for myself and also for my family members and also for my friends. And any forum that I go to, I strive to actually talk about quality rights for me because it was very interesting. And I think knowledge is quite shareable. I've not been selfish with it, but I like the impact that I got from actually doing the program and learning. One of the many examples, and one example that I use is on the legal rights and the legal capacity and mental capacity. I always pose that question to people and ask them, do you know there's a difference? And to me, even when you go to places, before I did this program, I would not have told you a difference. I thought they are one of the same. So I don't know about you. When you're doing on the legal capacity, were you also surprised to actually learn, oh my God, one word can actually change the meaning of a phrase or a sentence? Anyway, congratulations to everyone that did this. And now you join us in acting. We've been united. Yeah, we are supposed to, just as the logo on the quality rights is written, act, unite, empower for mental health. So mental health, this initiative for mental health is uniting us all. We are supposed to act on it. We did not only read it for just to not to act on it. Yeah, words without actions are like we have to put actions to this. We have to put actions into what we have learned and into practice. So for me, what I would advocate is for everyone who has done it, don't let yourself be the only person who has done it. Ensure that a friend of yours or someone also benefits from acquiring this knowledge, okay? And there's something that Chris said, and I really liked it. He said that he got a patient. It's about involuntary admission. There's a really huge debate on that. And we have, at the ministry, we really receive a lot of letters from the patients giving us the experience after the involuntary admissions. It's never, you see, you have to decide for yourself. You have to have that insight. You have to want something for you also to get a change. Like everyone here wanted to do this course, and that's why you did it, and you're able to encourage yourself to finish. So as Chris said, I like what he said. A patient came and the family members brought the patient, and the patient was like, I don't want to talk, and I don't want. And Chris, thank you for actually just defending that patient's right. He was not comfortable at that time to undertake treatment, and you did the right thing. You went further to actually empower the family members with knowledge by organizing that family therapy, explaining to them. That way, they'll be able to offer the good support that they're supposed to give to their patients. Because in our culture, sometimes we tend to think that we are supporting our relatives by forcing them into our opinions and what we think is best for them without even asking them. So I really like that approach, and I've not used it yet because by the time we're getting patients in Mathare, one thing that has ever struck me when I was doing this quality rights is when you get patients there, yes, there are some that are brought involuntary and even by the police, but I liked how if you come and you talked with them and you made them understand, like some of them, they will even have a conversation with you. Ask them, why did you beat, when being told that you are violent, you did this, they will say, I was violent because they called me Mwenda Azimu. Daktari mini Mwenda Azimu. And what have you? So actually undertaking the quality rights is quite, it shouldn't be made mandatory because we are saying it should be something that everyone should want. But I feel like it's a necessity for any person who's going to be dealing with other people, because we need to know, you need to know your rights, you need to know the other people's rights so that you don't unintentionally or intentionally infringe on their rights. That way we live in harmony and will encourage the mental wellness. Because if someone infringed on your rights, you'll feel bad. Like if Chris had forced this patient, like said, your family members have brought you and you're sick and you're what, I don't think that person would have been so comfortable getting the not even comfortable is not the word. I don't think would have been happy. Is it happy? Chris will help me know what word to put there, but I don't think it will be. If he had forced this patient to actually undergo through treatment, or is it management, I don't think he would have had a very good outcome, as opposed to how he actually went through it. You'll see that I don't know the end of the story to this. Chris will tell us, and I'll try and follow up with Charity to get to know this. But I strongly believe that the patient, when the patient is ready, the patient will want to talk to Chris, because he will feel like this doctor understood me and will understand me and can help me actually in this recovery road. As Charity has said, at the Ministry of Health and under the Division of Mental Health, we are really striving to give any support that we can, and in any way that we can do to actually be able to empower people on the quality rights and for them to undertake it. Any support that can be needed from the ministry, we actually, I strongly want to believe that, Charity, we are giving you the best support. And where we are not, sorry, and of course there's always room for improvement. Where you feel like we are not giving you that support, you can always just tell us, I feel like this is where I need more help, and we'll always be more than willing to actually grant you that support and help. It's an honor to meet all of you. I've only seen a few of you, and any question that will be directed towards me, I'll gladly want to actually answer. With those few remarks, allow me to actually just end my talk, but I'm here, I'm still here, and I'm still listening. And let's all just go there. We did not just do this course to just keep it to ourselves. No, we are going to act on it, and we are going to empower other people also more knowledge on mental health. Thank you.
Okay. Asante sana, Dr. Wanjiku Wawero. I'm so glad you've joined the team. It has been very, very difficult for Dr. Nasri to balance all the departments. So we are so excited that you're here, because then it makes it a lot easier for the 6 cohorts that we are starting. And now that I'm seeing we already have over 10 volunteers, we just might be starting 10.
Nice.
So, I mean, you just came at the right time. It's fantastic. I think one thing that people don't realize, and I only realized this because my parents have 7 non-communicable diseases. And so through the NCD Alliance of Kenya, we work with the Ministry of Health NCD department. And so it has exposed me to the Ministry of Health and how things work. And within the Department of Non-Communicable Diseases, where mental health is, the division of mental health is the most active. I mean, tunaitanga watu wa cancer wazito, because they have big organizations, they have big funding, but even cancer organizations, cancer patients wish they had a department like we do, like we have the best department. And I've only gotten to realize that because of being in the NCD space. There are so many things, I post about what we are doing in mental health, and they get shocked. They get so shocked. And even the Dr. Gladwell and Dr. Fantas, they all feel challenged, when I say everything the ministry is doing. So you're doing a good job. We are glad that you're here, because then we can be able to do more and to provide capacity. So I just wanted to clarify, probably to those who have joined us today, or there's someone who's asking for the link to the group. Someone please share the link to the WhatsApp group on the chat, and later, and also the registration link, how you can register for QR, because you can register and then we will have an orientation in January. We will reconvene mid-January, and then we will start mobilizing for the next cohort. Yes, so there's a comment. Nelly would like to join the group. Yes, please add the group, the link for the Daystar group on the group chat. On the description, we have all the links. So someone please copy that for us. All right, so it is to say that the Ministry of Health is so committed, especially the Division of Mental Health. I wish I could start awards so that I could just award the Ministry of Health.
Is it mine?
The fact that I am able to facilitate this for psychiatrists, surely, so lived experience is, I have had an opportunity to speak at the UN General Assembly, at the African Union, at the Africa CDC, at the Africa Union, and so many other places, because the Ministry of Health has given us an opportunity as persons with lived experience to serve in 8 committees. I serve in the National Task Force on Mental Health, currently as a court petitioner to decriminalize suicide attempt. We have had representation in our National Suicide Prevention Strategy Committee, in the National Action Plan, very recently with the Nairobi County Mental Health Action Plan. I'm forgetting some of them. The Kenya investment case for mental health, and so on. And so we really appreciate the ministry for that. And it's also to encourage persons at Daystar, because I do know there are many more who have lived experience. And so even having people like Chris who can balance lived experience and psychology, and be able to give insights like that, and having nurses who are psychologists and people just wearing many hats, provides a lot of support for people who need it. Okay, so I trust someone will, I'm struggling to go to the different chats and all that, but someone please post the group link and how to register. So join the group, and then for the volunteers who have signed up, we will call for a meeting. We'll check your availability. If we can have a virtual meeting next week, we will brief you on what we discussed in terms of way forward for Daystar. And we will also tell you the other opportunities so that you can see whether you will support in mobilizing and facilitating for, mobilizing alumni or postgrad or, wherever it is you would like to serve, or even beyond Daystar. So I am very, very excited now to invite our keynote speaker, someone that I only got to speak to recently. And I was so excited to hear that he is a quality rights champion and is the one who introduced Chris, our the life of this cohort. She is the one who introduced him to QR, and probably would not be having this discussion if it was not for Dr. Mwaka introducing quality rights to Chris, and slowly it has gotten to this point. And we're also excited that she is hosting us technically today. So we are the Zoom link and the YouTube link, the live link, are being hosted by the Odell department, courtesy of Dr. Caroline Ayuya Mwaka. My apologies, senior lecturer at Daystar and the director of Odell and the patron of the Daystar iHub will be giving us our keynote speech. We would love to hear from you in terms of what has stood out in the different things that has been shared, and even your commitment as the Odell department. Someone has posted the link on how to register for quality rights. Please just sign up and then join the group. We'll also have the link being shared, and then you can speak. So just before Dr. Mwaka speaks, Dr. Waweru Wanjiko's hand is up, so kindly speak, and then we will have the keynote speech.
Hi, Chris. Kindly, Chris has not answered the question that I asked. Like,
how
did the patient? I hope he doesn't forget it. I'm quite keen. And then another thing that you've mentioned and I forgot to mention is we met with all the 47 counties, and that COG, the head of the COG, Katra, is a member of the board, and they're quite excited and happy with what we are doing. And a lot of counties, especially the mental health focal person at the counties, they are quite excited on what they're doing. They're willing to actually give their support in any way. So they were asking, they are willing to actually help us. So let's scoop on that opportunity. And anyone here, let's volunteer so that we can actually help empower this. We need a lot of volunteers. It will really help because we need to cover all these 47 counties.
Fantastic. I love that, because we cannot achieve community mental health without the counties. So I'm so excited that Nairobi County, for example, is really leading us well. They already have 40 community health centers at the, slums and, very reachable places. And to be able to achieve that in other counties, then we need support to be able to facilitate this. This is a program that is run by volunteers, including myself. And so when we ask for volunteers, this is what we are doing. And if we have been able to accomplish this, then you can help us get further away. So have a county in mind, even as you sign up. And if there are other, if there are people that who've been very excited about this cohort and are not here in this call, please inbox them and let them know that we are here and we are looking for volunteers. So without further ado, we will have Dr. Caroline Ayuya Mwaka, Senior Lecturer, Daystar, Director Odell, Patron of iHub. We're excited to have you. Please give us your insights, and then soon after, we will do a photo of all participants here today, a Zoom photo, screenshot, and then we will take a photo of all graduates who are here today before we close. Thank you. Karibu, Daktari.
Right, thank you. Thank you so much, Catherine, for the warm welcome and for the noble endeavor that you as a person and everybody else who is in this forum has undertaken to ensure that we give dignity to issues around mental health, not just because it is supposed to be that, but it's supposed to be a human responsibility to give dignity towards areas and issues and patients around mental health. So for me, I'm so excited to be here. I was just asked this probably a day or day before, and I wasn't so sure. But then I recalled actually I did this training, and I couldn't remember. Obviously, when I mentioned I did this training during COVID, but I now realize it's 2019, and I think I'm a beneficiary of a wonderful e-training that has not just changed me as a human being to look at mental health in a different perspective, but look at patients or clients with people with mental illness from a specific way, in the way that they are just like everybody. One thing I always know is that everybody is prone to mental problems. And for those who are Christians, if you read the Bible, it will tell you in some proverb that as long as you're born of a woman, you are prone to trouble. So if you're prone to trouble, it means you're prone to access, you are easily susceptible to mental problems around yourself. So anyone of us, any person seated here, or any one of us, or any family member, any human being, surely will be able to deserve good mental care, because all of us are possible clients at any point of time. So today, I am so excited to meet you who are graduating today, and for those who have been supporting this, and of course, WHO, who made this program accessible for free to all of us. There must have been people who had to make these training materials, load them, etc., for us to be able to access. So really, I want to call them faculty members just because they are that. But for us who are graduating today.
Hello, Daktari.
Yes.
Sorry, you got lost. Please repeat the last two sentences.
All right, I'm very sorry. I'm just saying that I want also to appreciate charity, Ministry of Health, represented by Catherine, WHO, and anybody else who has been behind this, whether they are here or not, like WHO, faculty people who use their time, materials to be able to make this program accessible to people worldwide. I would really want to appreciate them. So I'm addressing you as people who have actually set aside your significant stride in the world of mental health. All of us here, I want to believe that today we're just trying to celebrate the strides that WHO has made through the quality rights to be able to provide this e-learning training as a very important program that is going not just to shape the mental health landscape in Kenya, but is also going to champion the rights of people with psychosocial, with intellectual, cognitive, and even physical disabilities, because they come with that. So really, yeah, we celebrate that. And therefore, I really want to appreciate those who have taken their time to be equipped with these valuable tools, so that these tools are not just for understanding mental health, but for fostering kind of environments that are going to be full of empathy, full of support, and empowering people with mental health. But when you take care of your own mental health, then it is easy to be able to take care of other people's mental health. And remember that mental health of other people, when you take care of people well in a rightful way, then you stand as a pillar against stigma, a pillar against the shadows of discrimination, a pillar against the shadows of abuse. So we are people who are going to present a sphere of a mental world that is against discrimination, against abuse, against stigma of any kind around mental illness. Sometimes I've seen myself when I see people have committed murder, homicides, and etc. I rarely speak. I just sit down and say there must have been something wrong. There must have been a problem. Sometimes I've sat down to look at something and think through fast before making judgments, before trying to make it look like people must take responsibility of their actions. Because I just don't know. Why would a mother want to throw a child all the way crossing the coastal oceans and throw the child deep in the water? I sit back and ask, and this is a person who is a deaf, and I say, let me just be quiet. I only want to listen to this person. So remember that mental health is not just an individual concern, but it's a societal, it's a problem that is all of us in the community, especially here. Now, charity is talking about volunteering. Literally, mental health has to be funded because it's a problem in the country. And volunteering is a word that should occur only where there are no resources 100%. We should demand for resources for mental health and reduce the use of the word volunteering in these spheres, because we make government believe that it's just a place of volunteering. We need to make, the government has a lot of money. Mental health has gone through bill. We have a board. And I think, Charity, you are here. If this graduation was going to be physical, where, because, you know, even mental health connection, how do you connect these people? We should have had this in Safari Park. We should have had this in Daystar, where the government pays for the facility at Daystar to ask us to come and graduate. These students invite you, Charity, and everybody from WHO to come and celebrate the strides of these people and make them now ambassadors that can run over multiplier effects. I still believe that volunteering is a word that is good, but I still believe we must go beyond volunteering, but actioning mental health as a financial plan for the government and stakeholders to put money into this so that we can be able to continue support. Connection is not just on e-connection. We want to physically connect, meet with each other, and then be able to make this viable. So my thinking is that we need to remember that just mental health is not as an individual concern, but it's a problem that is in society. It is a societal issue. And therefore, this training is of course, going to help you to be able to take in very critical issues in advocating for person-centered, right-based recovery approaches that you have been able to get from this. Yes.
Sorry. You had disappeared for a moment. Please repeat the last.
No, actually, we can hear her, Charity.
Oh, it was on my end. Okay.
Yeah, it's on your end. We can hear her. She's been very articulate and very clear.
Okay, it's just the last sentence I missed.
Okay, so I can repeat. Just I was just simply saying that we need, as we say, that this is not just an individual concern; it's a societal problem, and for that reason, we need to find that we as who have gone through this training, we must be in the forefront in advocating for person-centered, for right-based recovery approaches, which are going to bring the essential of transforming the mental health care landscape in this country. Why am I saying advocacy? I'm saying advocacy because this is a path ahead of us, and that is what you have been trained for. That's why we did the e-training. If the advocacy was not the essence, then we shouldn't be here. So as you step into these communities, as we bring in new universities, as we bring in counties and etc., we need just to be able to urge everybody to use this knowledge and passion and become the agents of change. We don't just to be multiplier by training, it's by the action. How am I going to handle my client? How I handle someone who is physically, when I construct my office, do I think of physically challenged people? Can they access my office? Do I think of, if I have a clinic and it's an inpatient, do I think of, patients who are going to sleep on this bed? What kind of a bed? All this, it's the connection we have with clients when they come to us, or the patients we have to us. So I want us to be ambassadors of this vision. And of course, now you are of this vision. The vision where a world where mental health is recognized, it's respected, and it's treated with dignity. People who have mental illnesses are that. So this world where it recognizes mental health, and that's why I say, surely, Dr. Catherine, we shouldn't be talking too much about volunteerism in mental health. If we respect that, recognize mental health in this country, we will give a penny. How come we are giving penny to taxes? How come we're giving pennies towards many others? Kenyans are paying taxes, and these taxes, part of it, are supposed to go to the issue of mental health care in this country. It must be given a priority, and we have to demand for this space. For us to give even quality rights to these people and people with mental illness, it has to be financed properly. And therefore, I would reduce volunteerism towards financing aspects and progress towards mental health. So that if Dr. Catherine, from if you want to come to Daystar, you want to give a public speech, yes, we will mobilize the students. We'll get everybody on board. But surely, this is a country's issue. The country has to put in some little taxes to pay for the venue, to pay for some teas and breakfast for those people who are attending. That's how we actually make mental health. And the word mental health become so common that all of us will realize that, hey, we care and we are. So on a personal experience as a professional in this field, I have learned that mental care is not just about treatment. It's about understanding. It's about compassion. It's about connection. And I remember a patient telling me that sometimes the most significant thing is just, you heard me, I listened to you, just listened to me, and you connected. And that was a healing thing. So simply hearing and understanding and empathize with client is so good to just let many things. That woman who threw a child in the ocean, probably just that hearing was this important thing. This is not about professionals. This is about every human being, just the way people take fruits and they take vegetables because of the physical. We must bring back home a diet for mental illness. The diet for mental illness is listening to people. That is the diet every single day. Understand this person and empathize. Let them take that diet just the way they take the fruits and they take the herbs because of the physical illness. And that's what I'm still thinking we should advocate for. So all of us, as we do our clinical practices, as we embark in this journey of mental health, we should be able to have the power to make a tangible difference. Also, you make the diet for mental illness every single day in your home. Make them. Let people speak. Speak is part of the diet. Listening is part of the diet. Empathy is part of the diet for mental illness in our homes, starting in our homes. And then we will see things that are going to change around us and becomes the diet of, we need to come with the diet of mental health. And we will be providing people that breakfast, take this diet, lunch, take this diet, and even take this diet. It is gonna help the society and will sweep away the wave and reduce the burden of mental care in this country and will give people rights that are quality around mental care. So I'm confident that you have these abilities and you're able to give positive change and advocate for moral inclusivity and empathetic world. And that is my prayer for you. So I want you to dedicate your commitment to improving mental health care in Kenya and all over the country. I've seen people from outside the country. Let us be able to uphold the rights of those people with mental health conditions. And of course, I want to sincerely, as I end this, congratulate you so much for taking this particular course. I hope you become an ambassador, and I hope you make a diet for mental health in your home and everywhere else. Thank you so much for having me, and I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Those are excellent insights. Let me just comment on the issue of resource mobilization. I think we have just gotten our first, no, I can't call you a volunteer, you refuse. We've gotten our first resource mobilizer in the team that is going to go ahead. I agree with you. One of the reasons why the Kenya investment case was developed, and it's a very rich document. I shared it on the group. I'll probably search up and reshare it. But one of the reasons why the investment case for mental health was done was to not only present what it is we need for mental health in terms of funding, but to show that it is an investment, because for every dollar in mental health, we're able to get back $7 in productivity and other benefits. And the reality is that there are very many organizations who have been looking to expand resources for mental health. There are many platforms that have been used to push for that. Even in the NCD space, one of the things I have been doing in the NCD space is to push for better mental health funding, because we have been at 0.01% of the health budget, not the Kenyan budget, but the health budget for a long time. On the other hand, I think we should have a balance between both. The National Quality Rights Committee was formed in 2019, I think 2018. And one of the reasons why quality rights has not gone very far is because everyone comes and says, let me go look for funds and come back and continue. So we have lost a lot. Yeah, I mean, we should be looking for resources, and let us also remember the people that we are looking for funds from have their priorities as well. Yeah? Even when you want to prioritize human rights, someone else will be having another priority. And so, how I look at it is that even for the people here to be passionate about quality rights, it took a sacrifice. We have not gotten far so far, and so being able to, do what we can, make it as cheap as possible to do this virtually and have people doing it as we look for funds. And so for me, I look at it on both ends. We would have been very far if from 2018 to now, we would have had people pushing where they can with the little resources that are there, because we are using resources, even the internet that is here and so on. So for me, I call for a balance that as we look for funds, let us begin to do what we can as volunteers, or whatever term you would prefer. And the other thing, there's someone who has asked in the chat if you can volunteer while you're out of Nairobi. Yes, definitely. A lot of what we are doing is virtual. We've actually moved to virtual. The one organization that had been able to get funds for community rights is Basic Needs. They had gotten a fund to do this with youth-led organizations that work with mental health. And so far, Basic Needs has graduated over 700 of them. That fund has ended. It dried up. They looked for a second fund. It has not yet. It's not available right now. But one of the things we found, because Basic Needs is one of the many stakeholders in the National Quality Rights Committee, where Daystar will not a member, and that Dr. Manager had attended. And what we realized is the numbers that Basic Needs could reach were limited by the issue of incentives, because then they could only reach as many people as they could incentivize. And so if probably volunteers would have been facilitated to do this, that number would have probably been 3,000 and above. So we have seen that a balance of both is needed. The other thing we have been challenging, and yes, I agree, we need to dignify this, by meeting in good hotel. I can tell you from 2017, I have been to the best hotels, I've eaten the most food, and most of the times we are not able to get it from lived experience because they are not facilitated to come. And so I've been challenging organizations to spend less on hotels, or at least meet in a cheaper hotel and facilitate the volunteers who are there to be able to reach further places. I have probably been to 50 meetings by now, and they are important, but I think we need to have a balance between, I wish that those 50 meetings would have been in cheaper hotels for half of that money to be used by community health workers, to train community health workers and to get them to do quality rights and community-based issues. So these are things that we should be discussing. And I think this is to say that just from this conversation, there's so much that we've started and we have not been able to speak enough. So many have things that they would like to say. And so I think that we should have a regular conversation on mental health, probably through the Daystar Compassion Center, through the psychology department. If we have, say, even quarterly opportunities to speak together on these issues of investment and community mental health and so on, we would go a lot further, because quality rights was just the beginning. I would love to see a convening where now we are comparing the CRPD with other laws. I would love to see a convening where we are talking about how do we engage this in research, quality rights in research, for example. So let this be the first meeting. And as we discuss with the volunteers, so next week, I will, in fact, immediately we will ask when it is that we can meet next week, just for 1 hour with the volunteers, and we can look into not just doing quality rights, but convening meetings like this, where the conversations that we have started on resource mobilization, on advocacy, on policy, we can continue and have more time. Because if we theme a conversation policy, have a whole hour to talk about it, we'll be able to cover a lot more. And I have seen the person who will lead the resource mobilization conversation. So thank you very much to all our speakers today. I'd like to invite Mwalimu Irene to give the vote of thanks. Then after that, I request all participants to put on their videos. We have a video of all participants. Then we will say goodbye to the participants who got quality rights so that we can have a picture of the graduates. Madam Irene.
Wow, thank you so much, Charity. It's been a joy and a pleasure to be with you. Did you have to be passionate You have been so instrumental in this journey. When Dr. Jared first introduced us with a few other faculty, we were like, yes, how will we at most something that needs to be muted. Let's see. Yeah, it's okay now. Yeah, like you heard from the devotion of Dr. Naomi about the, being multiplying mental health advocates and ambassadors. That's what we are doing today. Yeah, because all of us are passionate about it. This is something we have really worked for, and we are so happy that the graduation is today. So Charity, our moderator, thank you so much. We truly appreciate you, and thank you so much for being here. I want to thank Dr. Caroline Ayuya Mwaka. I didn't even know she was in this until I spoke to her and I told her, you are Odell, we need you. And as Carol, she has such a big heart. I've never met somebody with such a heart. She was in it and she was ready to give us. She told us, I'm actually the one. And then Chris today confirms that she's the one who introduced him to quality rights. So Dr. Carol, our mental health advocate, ambassador, and you can hear, she's like, why are we even volunteering? Where is the money? This is important. And we should come from that 0.00 to at least 10 and more percent. So thank you so much for being here, for being our keynote speaker. We know your heart. We know how passionate you are about mental health. Chris, we are so proud of you. Congratulations. Chris graduated the other day. He graduated a few years back with an award in his undergraduate, and now he's graduated with master's, okay? And he was still found time, amidst his thesis and all that, to be here and to come here for us. So Chris, God bless you. We really appreciate you, and we're looking forward. I've worked with you, with peer counselors in class, and I know your heart, and I'm so proud of you. Let's keep going, all right? So we appreciate each one of you. Tabitha, that passion. In fact, I was like, yeah, actually, why are the nurses not here? And we have quite a population of them, especially down there in main campus. So second cohort, you already know where we are looking. Because like I said, when you brought it out, I'm like, actually nurses. And that's why they do a bit of psychology. They have this at heart. They're the ones who sit most with the patients, okay? Like when my dad, towards his last days, he had people who are nurses very close to his heart. And they not only cared for him physically, but mentally. So we appreciate you, nurses, and everyone who is here. May God bless you all. So thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate Daktari from the Ministry of Health, our psychiatrist. I know you've been very busy, but even being here and very passionate, and like you, I also learned a lot from this course. We can get to a place where like, we have learned so much. We have done our undergraduate, we've done our masters, now we are doing something. So what else, only to come here and realize we have so much to learn about mental health. So thank you so much for coming, and we appreciate you from the Ministry of Health, and God bless you. To our graduates, congratulations. Yeah, I'm urinating, I'm excited. I can hardly wait to see all those videos. I hope you're putting your makeup. Some of you are asking for graduation gowns. Not this time, next time, but we are so excited. We are looking forward to have you, graduate today. And remember, when you graduate, and I always tell students, and I know my students are here, it is not the end, okay? It is the beginning. You have been given power. So you have been given power to be mental health advocates. So go out there, and as Dr. Mwaka has said, let it be in our diet. Let it be the conversations in our family. As we go towards the Christmas, some Christmas is a season of trauma. Some people, season of missing people. Some season of economic hard time. Be the advocate, yeah? And as Dr. Naomi told us, we are here. Jesus has given us a command. We are here to restore. We are here to provide empathy. We are here to provide unconditional positive regard for the people who are suffering. So let's help with our stigma. I know we have a long way to go, especially in Kenya, with our hospitals and our issues, but God will help us. So we are grateful to each one of you. Thank you so much, Charity, once more, and your team. Thank you so much for your students. I know it was not easy. My own students, I know I used to give them a lot of work, and here we are telling them, please also do this. It took a lot of sacrifice, a lot of resilience. Sometimes I know it's frustrating. You get to number 20, number 19, you get taken back and you're like, I'm done with this. So it takes a lot, and it's also a way of learning. So we really appreciate. Thank you everyone for taking your time. We truly appreciate you. God bless you.
Asante sana. You're one of the most gracious people I have met, Irene, and you have definitely celebrated everyone well. I really, Dr. Meneta has to watch this video. I mean, he's also worked hard, and you and the team have made him proud. And so I'd like to close the meeting officially with the thanks of everyone, and even for the Ministry of Health. You know, there are people who look for the Ministry of Health for a year, and just being able to have them here immediately on call and willing to discuss with us is so good. And so thank you everyone for making this a successful cohort. Daystar will go down in history, you know, as the first college. I keep saying the first time I was at Daystar, I was 3 years old. My mom was running, she had done counseling, and she was doing a program called Women's Aglow Fellowship. So she'd put me on a table, you know, to sing. And somehow I've always had such a heart for Daystar since that time. So I'm glad that it is the first university. And this is just the beginning. So I want to challenge us all. Take this to wherever you can. Make it as sustainable as possible. I mean, I was like, okay, I don't have funds. My patients who need these services cannot actualize them within the hospital. Health professionals need to do this. And by starting you off and you're already doing your first quarter alone next year is a sustainable way. And so I challenge everyone to look for sustainable and innovative ways to run quality rights and to defend quality rights. So thank you all for coming. At this point, I want to request all of us to put on our videos, and then we will have the Odell team taking a screenshot so that we can also share this on social media, and we can send to everyone to know that we had our first university cohort graduation. Yes, I'm seeing Frida adjusting her hair. You look lovely. All right, so Odell, are you ready? Okay, so everybody smile.
My printer. I want to ask, Chris, are you using a laptop? Yes.
Yes, I am.
I want to make you the host, and then you use window and print so that you can try and use on your side. My print screen is seem not to be picking up the whatever. Do you know how to take a photo with your
yes.
Okay, I'll make you the host so that doesn't give you any trouble. So you'll take in groups. The first page you're able to see. Second, third page until you clear up.
Okay.
So meanwhile, I will end the YouTube. That's okay, Charity?
Okay. I think the photos would be nice on YouTube if possible, but if technically it cannot work together with this other one.
Okay, there's no problem. Okay, Chris, I'm officially handing over all my quality rights to you.
Okay. So now that we are saying we will have funding for mental, now that we are talking about funding for mental health, everybody say M-Pesa and smile.
So I will remove the rest of. Okay, Chris, you can remove the spotlight. I've now already handed before you. Remove the spotlight so that you can have a good picture spotlight for everybody.
Okay.
So everybody say quality rights and smile.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, there is spotlight.
Then remove.
Okay.
So you'll be the one to see everybody in terms of their faces and pages. It's now yourself and the camera.
Okay. All right. M-Pesa.
M-Pesa.
Okay. Window 2. There you are. One more.
Quality rights.
There you are. I'm done.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris. So thank you for everyone who has joined us. We put a link for the Daystar group. Please join in case you're not there. And we will announce for the next cohort in January. So
Chris, if you see the YouTube, you can just stop and then it will stop if you're able to see it. If not, it will just automatically stop.
Oh, okay. So I can stop it, right?
Or you can return the host to me and then
yes, kindly exit with our thanks, and then let's remain with the graduates for another photo.
Oh, Chris, you still have some more time with the host.
Sorry, I think Dr. Wanjiko, allow me, I'll give Chris your number to respond to your question.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Although I've responded in chat.
Oh, you've responded in the chat. Sawa. Then everyone can read it there.
I hope she saw it, yeah.
So do we have all our graduates on screen with their videos on? Are we all here? Okay, Chris, are you ready for us? And this includes even Dr. Mwaka, because she's still
on camera. She's on camera.
Sawa.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And our faculty who has finished.
Let me just join this
Yes, this is your graduation as well. Yes, I should have asked for Dr. Menecha's photo. I hold it for him, but we will add it. Okay, Chris.
Just one more frame. Okay. And I'm done. Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone.